going out live?
We should be, but I'm not getting a hit. Oh, yeah, we are.
Okay.
From the industrial wastelands of Michigan to the fruited plains of Iowa, this is the American Green Pack.
Chair perversity.
You are the dead. Remain exactly where you are. Make no move until you are ordered.
We burn them to ashes and then burn the ashes. That's our official motto.
Now we can see you. Clasp your hands behind your heads. Stand out in the middle of the room. Stand back to back.
Who can explain the fascination of fire? What draws us to it, whether we're young or old?
Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head.
And welcome to the American Beef Factory podcast. This is Nathan.
Oh, wrong one. Hold on. Gotta let him see. This is Conlon.
Andrew.
Yeah, here we are, back again, back for more podcast excellence. It's been a week of flooding here.
Oh, yeah?
And again, yeah, on Dearborn and Dearborn Heights.
Is it just lots of rain, or is it like...
There's lots of rain.
Okay.
Inches of rain a minute or something like that. But yeah, it was interesting going into work. And then going out of work, I actually had to turn around 4 different times because they had the freeway ramps go down and up to get onto the freeway. They're like those big circular ramps that you go down into a tunnel and come out and go up. Well, the tunnel was just filled with water. And it was so filled with water, like the water had white caps from the semis driving through it. Because when I drove into work, it was pretty high. It was up probably not a little less than halfway up my door. But I just kept going because it's like, fuck it, I'm committed. Because we all pull off the freeway because it's a double freeway ramp. And there's like 100 cars behind you in this big, massive thing of water. And I see trucks going through it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll follow this semi, let him break the water for me. And I was driving like, oh, man, I hope the seal's on the door. Jesus Christ, this is high. But going out, the water was even deeper. And it's like, no. So thank God for GPS. Dearborn Heights is still flooded. Like anyone who has a basement, it's underwater. They put like 50,000 sandbags up at all these different areas. And they had people out on their sidewalks with cameras taking pictures of the fish swimming on the sidewalks. But that happened 5 years ago, and it completely wiped that Dearborn Heights out. So now they're just back at it again. Get those spring rains after winter. For some reason, it's always a fiasco the first few, and then it's you don't even notice it anymore. We're plenty damp here. Sump pump's been running like a champ all week. So that's what's going on here. And I got a new iPhone this week.
Why?
Oh, because my because we all three had the same one, and my son's cellular antenna just quit working.
Okay.
And it became a thing like, well, we go in to get it repaired or whatever, and I hadn't been paying much attention, I guess, but like Apple will give you like, if you have an older iPhone, they'll practically give you they'll practically give you $500 to trade it in because these new iPhones aren't selling worth the shit because they're so fucking expensive. So instead of trading in or instead of repairing a 3-year-old phone, it's like, oh, fuck it, we'll just get 3 new ones if you give us that price for all of them. So now I have an iPhone XR, which is the downscale version of the 10 and the XS.
Is it the small one?
No, it's not smaller. Well, I think it might be a little smaller, but it doesn't have all the fancy cameras, and it's got the same processor, and it doesn't have the OLED screen. It just has the regular screen.
Yeah.
So, and I would have. It's much bigger than the
No,
7. It's like
pretty good size.
big. Yeah. So, but it was yeah. I don't know. It didn't like it was actually cheaper to do this than it was when I got those iPhone 7s for everyone. So, oh, okay, we can do this.
So what does the R stand for versus the?
Reduced? No, I don't know. It's,
Well, that makes sense.
well, the reason they came up with that name scheme was because they had the iPhone, because they went, it was always iPhone 1 through 8, and then they skipped 9, and then they came out with the iPhone 10 because Galaxy was going to go in its 10. Well, when they went to 10, they went with the Roman numeral, and they were going to call the iPhone XR the iPhone XC, but C means like 1,000 in Roman numerals. So they didn't want to confuse people. Like they'd think, oh, wait, this iPhone means it's like it's got 1,000 of something, or So they, I don't know. I mean, the bottom line is those phones are so fucking expensive at the top of their range. They cost as much as a laptop now, and they're just, guess what? People aren't snapping them up unless you're giving them real incentives to buy them. So.
And Apple's laptops suck this. Suck now.
I haven't really messed with one in a long time since I bought my last one.
It's something with the keyboard that's like horrendous. Like it's basically like their keyboard is almost like a touchscreen, and so there's a lot of like missed button presses. Like not by you, but by the computer. It's like, no, I fucking pressed that, and you have to hit things twice and shit.
Oh, I didn't know.
Infuriates people, especially when lots of people use Apple products to edit heavily and make shortcuts on different various art programs and all that shit. So
oh yeah, that'll be a problem.
There's a pretty good mass exodus of Apple products recently.
So yeah, so that's why I did that. Nothing wrong with nothing wrong with me and my wife's phone. They were just getting old. You can't replace the battery, and
yeah.
it's like, whatever, get another one. Because I'm not migrating away from Apple anytime soon, because I like a computer that works, not a fucking science project I got to play with. So I'll take it, warts and all.
So I don't have a quiz. I'm going to steal something from another podcast because I thought this was a great. Adam Cleary from WhatCulture.com made a quiz of who said it, Vince McMahon or Donald Trump?
Oh, okay.
So who wants to be the guesser?
I'll guess.
Okay. I understand the common man because I understand me.
Donald Trump.
Oh no.
Oh no, is it?
Oh, I guess we're gonna find out afterwards. Damn it. Oh well. The beauty of me is that I'm very rich.
Vince McMahon.
If I like you, I'm going to tell you. I'm a hugger, a very deep hugger, even with men.
Donald Trump. It sounds like the way he would explain something. Basically.
I've never seen a thin person drinking Coke. Diet Coke.
Vince McMahon.
I think Viagra is wonderful if you need it. I've just never needed it. Frankly, I wouldn't mind if they were an anti-Viagra. I'm not bragging, I just don't need it.
Donald Trump.
It's gotta be.
He just over-explains everything. Fuck.
She does have a very nice figure. If she weren't my daughter, I'd be dating her.
God. Both? Vince McMahon.
That's well, okay. I think it's Donald Trump, but yeah, go ahead.
I get a kick out of working with the media, but the standards of the media in this country have dropped to an all-time low level of credibility.
Donald Trump.
It really doesn't matter what people say, so as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of ass.
Vince McMahon.
Anyone's guess.
All of these can be said by both people.
Yeah.
I saw his first speech and he gave all thanks to God, and I thought, wow, if this guy thinks he's got a closer connection to God than I have, that's not good.
Vince McMahon.
Get relief from over.
No. No commercials. One thing I'll insist on is that people not be politically correct. I can't stand politically correct.
Donald Trump.
I get more out of one big breath of I get more out of one big breath of fresh air than most people get from breathing in and out for a lifetime.
Vince McMahon.
What's-
That's the weirdest fucking quote, but okay.
I have a great relationship with African Americans. I just have great respect for them, and they like me. I like them.
Donald Trump.
I wish there was immediate feedback for this. So I could be like, no, it was him. Because then we're all going to forget these things.
No,
Yeah.
I'll remember.
I have balls the size of grapefruits, and one day you'll be spitting out the seeds.
Vince McMahon.
That's gross.
My net worth is $8 billion. I'm not saying that to brag because you know what? I don't have to brag.
Donald Trump.
The concept of shaking hands is absolutely terrible. And statistically, I've been proven right.
Donald Trump.
On the word fuck. It's not just that the word refers to my favorite thing to do in life, it's that we want communication that's visceral.
Vince McMahon. Because Donald Trump doesn't know what visceral means.
My fingers are long and beautiful, as
Donald
it has
Trump.
been well documented by area
Donald Trump.
in my body.
Don't have to finish it. Just after he said my fingers are long and beautiful. That's all I need to hear.
I get off on the number of orgasms a woman has when I'm the reason she's having them.
Oh, fuck. Vince McMahon.
Before a show, I'll go backstage and these incredible looking women are standing there with no clothes, but I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner.
Donald Trump. I know that one for sure because that's what he said.
The worst sex I've ever had has always been great.
Donald Trump.
I believe that might be it. Do you want to know the ones? Oh, we got a 50%. Okay, so we failed.
Oh shit, okay. That's good or bad, I don't know.
Did Donald Trump say all these things?
Oh shit, it does. Okay, here. Do you want to know the ones you got right or wrong?
Just go through one by one.
Okay, I understand the common man because I understand me. That was Donald Trump. You said Vince McMahon. The beauty of me is that I'm very rich. Trump said that. Oh wait. How are these right? Okay, the red one. Okay. You said okay. Vince said that. Wait. How does this
I
work?
said Donald Trump for the first one, then Vince for the second one. I thought it.
Okay, which one do you think is the check mark like we said and the red one's the right answer?
I think.
Okay.
Like,
Wait, Vince said the beauty of him is that he's rich? That's stupid. Okay. If I like you, I'm going to tell you. I'm a hugger, a very deep hugger, even with men. Oh, wait, I think
the check mark's the right one?
yeah, because I know Vince McMahon said that one.
Oh, okay.
So check mark's the, okay.
It just sounded like the way Trump would explain something.
Okay, no. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke. That Trump said that, and you said it was Vince McMahon. Okay, the red ones are the ones we got wrong. So you got all the first four ones wrong.
Well, shit. No,
It doesn't matter.
no I know.
I think Viagra was wonderful. If you need it, you just not need it. You said Trump. That's correct. She does have a very nice figure. If I'd be dating her, if she weren't my daughter, I'd be dating her. Trump said that. I get a kick out of working with the media, but the standards of the media have dropped to an all-time low. You said Vince said that, and it was Trump.
I said.
Oh wait,
I said Trump.
you said Trump, and Vince McMahon said that.
Oh.
That really doesn't matter what you say as long as you got a beautiful piece of ass. You said Vince McMahon, it was Trump.
Really?
Yeah, I would assume that was Vince McMahon. That was pretty direct and to the point without a bunch of stammering, so I thought that was Vince McMahon.
I saw his first speech, and he gave all thanks to God. I thought, wow, if this guy's closer to God than I have, that's not good. Vince McMahon said that. You got that right. One thing I'll insist on is that people not be politically correct. I can't stand political correctness. That was Vince McMahon. You said Trump. I get more out of one big breath of fresh air than most people get from breathing in and out for a lifetime. And Vince McMahon said that. You got that right. I have a great relationship with African Americans. I just have great respect for them. And then they like me. I like them. Trump said that. You got that right. I have balls the size of grapefruits, and one day you'll be spitting out the seeds. Vince McMahon said that. My net worth, you got that correct? My net worth is $8 billion. I'm not saying that to brag. You just, you said it was Trump. That is Trump. The concept of shaking hands is absolutely terrible and strictly have been proven right. You said Trump. It was Trump. On the word fuck, it's not just that the word refers to my favorite thing to do in life. It's what we communication that's visceral. Vince McMahon said that. You got that right. My fingers are long as they are beautiful. You interrupted me. You said Trump, and you are correct.
Because nobody else gets made fun with.
My fingers are long and beautiful like a well-endowed lesbian.
I get off on the number of orgasms a woman has when I'm the reason she's having them. You said Vince McMahon. That's correct. Before a show, I'll go backstage, and these incredible-looking women are staying there with no clothes, but I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner. I believe Trump said that, but here it's saying that's wrong. It's saying it's Vince.
No, Trump said that about the Miss America.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This is wrong. Because otherwise, Vince should be in. Well, they should both be in jail, but
They're both horrible people.
The worst sex I've ever had has always been great. You said Trump, and Vince McMahon said that.
Yeah, I figured it was probably Vince McMahon after I said Trump, but yeah.
Well, the point of this is it's a hat toss. You can't. You couldn't be like, did Obama or Vince McMahon say this? There wouldn't be any ambiguity.
So just old men saying horrible things.
Just make it more blatantly obvious. Did Gandhi or Vince McMahon say this? Help
Jesus,
your
Vince McMahon. Who said this?
And they're also friends, so that.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Well, I believe like Trump was like he was like what do you say? A money guy for the XFL. Like he was one of the partners for the XFL.
Yeah, he was. That's why he hates the NFL. That's why he was so hard about the kneeling and the patriotism and all that nonsense. Not because he gave a shit about kneeling or patriotism. The NFL fucked him in the ass on the XFL. So,
oh, don't worry, it's coming back.
it's going to become roaring back. Well, now it's backed by the federal government. So,
and that other football league, they just crumbled. So
when the
that was like the America Football Alliance, I think, or something like that.
oh, okay.
Because like the guy who did the documentary about the XFL, like then went and created this football league, but it folded. So
Yeah. I'm gonna figure out how they got it wrong. No.
yeah, the thing folded like just as about their playoffs were about to happen. Like they didn't get to finish the fucking season.
I like to play the Price is Right tone. Remember World League football? That was a weird thing. I was a little kid.
What was that?
Oh, it was like, well, because you had like, let me look it up. I remember you had, because they were always doing exhibition games in London, but you were gonna have it was like basically soccer, but with football, American football, and you were gonna have like a team from every country or something.
Huh.
Yeah, 74 and 75 is when it first started, but I would have been a baby then. There was another one too. NFL Europe. Yeah.
Huh. That might have been
World
on replays
football.
or something like that.
NFL Europa. Yeah, it was 1989. It was founded. They had a season in 91, and they had abbreviated season, had a full season from 2004, and then 2007 it ceased to exist. So yeah, I remember that one because you had like the I don't know. It was organized like soccer teams, but it was supposed to be like teams from every country in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes.
That's what they wanted, like the World Cup for football.
Yeah, nobody likes
American football.
Nobody likes American football except Americans and some Canadians.
Well,
Some people in England.
supposedly there's a big draw for it in London now, but I have no idea.
Yeah, they like it in England too. They don't like it as much as they like soccer.
No, fuck no.
So it's like, yeah, it's like it's a weird like if cricket, if you got Michael Jordan to start playing cricket over here, it'd be popular, and then everyone would lose interest and go back to watching real sports. So,
well, like the
sports.
they go to video games. Yeah, EA, they make like their big money thing is FIFA.
Yeah.
And it's not like it sells great here. Like Madden will sell like 20 million copies here. It's like holy shit, but like nowhere else. While like FIFA will sell like 40 million copies around the world.
Well, did you hear that EA is losing billions of dollars this year?
Of course they are.
Billions?
They own the Star Wars license and they can't even put out a fucking Star Wars game.
It seems like there's a Star Wars curse. Like whoever buys into that franchise, it's like we can't lose. Oh, yeah. Just hold on. Here we go.
Well, there has been good games though, which is sad. There's been good games made by like George Lucas Studios, and
LucasArts?
oh yeah, LucasArts, yeah, and then
But that's Shuttered. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think they are like weirdly bringing it back now.
I don't know.
Disney is
Maybe. I mean, Disney really obviously gets
because they're looking like maybe we shouldn't let EA handle our Star Wars games anymore.
Maybe that didn't work out for us.
BioWare did good games with Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like recently.
No, I know. I'm just saying there's been good Star Wars games.
Yeah, there's been
They've
plenty.
just been
Yeah.
few and far between, and not in succession, and by one.
Yeah, there were
company.
good Star Wars movies too in the 80s.
So let's live off nostalgia, goddammit. I own Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 now. It only cost me $1.50 a piece. Let's just live off that for the rest of our
Hundreds of
lives.
hours of playtime for $2.
Yeah, I know. Versus $60 for 4 hours of playtime and shitty online play.
Yeah, online cheating. How are they cheating now? Oh, this is how. Okay.
They're intentionally lagging so they can't be hit. Like,
Hit the lag switch. We're gonna kill these motherfuckers.
Time to bot these fuckers to hell.
I beat it without spending extra money on a lag switch, though. I just have shitty internet. that's what allows me to win.
Just
Damn
build
you,
ro-
John Carmack, and your oh fuck, I forget the name of it. It's client side something. Basically, that's what depends who gets shot first.
Oh,
It's client side predictive logic. Because like the internet's not good enough for you to actually like shoot at the guy and it's supposed to hit him. It's like it's like at some point it's like the server is just like close enough. One of you win.
it's its own simulation.
Yeah. Which that's what makes Google Stadia interesting, because if everybody's streaming from the same place or relatively the same server, then nobody has any advantage whatsoever, other than maybe your video will get fuzzy or some shit.
Speaking of math equations and mathematical possibilities, did anybody else see the mathematical equation they did for the White Walker? The White Walker battle? Like, somebody literally drew out a mathematic probability curve for, like, how against the army of the living versus the army of the dead, what the outcome would be based upon killing power and body count and everything else. Like, they literally had, like, a big graph and everything else in this long drawn-out equation. And the ending thesis was that the living would always win because they have more killing power and can kill quicker than the dead can. Not counting special characters or dragons or anything like that, but just literally
Or
counting
magic we don't know of yet.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it was just like, oh yeah, this wasn't really a surprise outcome that the dead would lose. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That'd be a fantastic way to end the series. Oh, this is just a cliffhanger for that prequel series, huh? Well, I remember there was a quote from George R. R. Martin that said that, like, you know, somebody asked him one time, and, you know, he gave a cynical answer, of course, but it's like, you know, how does this end? And he says, with a planet full of graves.
Yep. That's it.
I don't know, should we just talk about that episode, or did you see it yet, Nathan?
Which one?
The last episode, Long Night.
No, I haven't watched any of them yet this year.
Oh, okay.
I've been too busy on the weekends. So yeah, I haven't seen any of the.
We were halfway through the last season, Nathan. Get on this.
Yeah.
And the episodes are extra long now. So
Well,
So I haven't last time.
not really. The second
the
one was
first
only
two
about
were
an
like
hour.
for like 40, 50 minutes, but this latest one's a 70-minute episode. and it's basically just the Battle of Helm's Deep, but at night.
Oh,
And no orcs. Like,
did they use giant trebuchets and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I mean, normal sized trebuchets.
Oh, they didn't have the big Minas Tirith ones that like took like
No.
400 people to operate somehow.
no, I think it was like 2 or 3 people crew, and they had a few, but yeah.
And they fired them once, and then they didn't try again after that.
Yeah, because watching the tactical breakdown of that episode, because
Oh yeah, it doesn't make any. It's all aesthetics. Like aesthetically, that was an amazing battle, and how they changed, and how it basically becomes a horror, a more intimate horror movie coming from like a giant war scene. But tactically, none of that shit makes sense at all.
yeah, especially the part where they try and hold the walls, which should have been like the best part of that siege for them, and then that didn't turn out very well at all either. So
Well, the amount of times they keep like cutting back, and like the army of the dead are still flooding into the castle. It's like, and then you keep cutting back to characters, and they're still alive somehow. It's like, no, these people are all fucking dead.
yeah, I know that was brought up quite a few times too. So yeah,
And the amount of times like somebody is like completely surrounded by the dead, and somehow they just like wiggle their way out of it because they're a main character.
well, they also brought up that like people with full plate armor are getting stabbed to death with a stone dagger.
Yeah.
like through the plate armor, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but yeah. I mean, technically, through weighted numbers, they'd be able to find the weak point anyway.
Cause like that's you expect from Game of Thrones, like, oh shit, like, cause the previous episode they have this it's a really sullen episode where basically everyone's like, we're all going to die,
Yeah.
and there's this scene specifically where like everybody's by the fire, and Brienne gets knighted. It's like, okay, she gets what she wants in life. She's a knight now. She's going to die. She got what she wanted. Something happy happened. And like all this stuff, and everybody in that fire scene lives. I mean, there's some like, long running character deaths that happen, but it's like it really should have taken a toll. But like, there's a statistical toll because essentially the entire Dothraki army and the Unsullied are completely wiped out. So all the brown foreign people get killed for the white people.
Yeah, but at the same
Now
time,
their lands are open.
but at the same time, watch the teaser trailer for episode 4, and it's like the army's back again.
Well, Grey Worm still has, it's still him and 10 guys.
Well, yeah,
And they have a dragon.
I don't know. I don't know how the hell they're
Still
gonna.
using their Greek fire weapon.
Well, they'll probably come about again, but not currently.
Well, because Cersei used that to wipe everyone out, and then they used that to defeat Stannis Baratheon on the ocean.
Yeah.
and
Oh, is
Waterbend.
that's an interest because that's a real thing. Actually, that's scary because that shit's like real. It's not quite that effective, but there is stuff they did have stuff like that in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, and we'll see what she does because obviously you don't know because you haven't seen the episodes. There's a few other things she has going for her right now that might come into play, but who knows?
Because essentially she was supposed to send some soldiers to that battle because like the last season had that kind of like cursory agreement. It's like, oh, we'll put our battles aside to fight the dead. She doesn't send a fucking person there.
So she's got, X amount of people, and they got like 2
Well, actually, no, she sends an army, but not to fight the dead, to fight who's ever left over.
Yeah, I'll have to catch up on that. I don't know why. I just haven't. Well, I've been too busy watching Dark. That's why. People have told me about this series for a while. Now, I didn't know anything about it. And you got to understand, when I'm watching Netflix or something, I'm usually like building stuff. So I'm like listening to it, but I'm not like just staring at the screen. And so I started watching it. And they were talking about some things, and I started watching. I was like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. What the hell's going on here? And I noticed people were talking, and it didn't, because it's straight up English dub. I didn't know this was a German TV show. I was like, this show looks great, but their fucking ADR sucks. Who did this? Why? And then I went to the subtitles. I looked. I was like, oh, this is a German show. Okay, it looks really good. But yeah, that was funny. I did not I thought it was British maybe, or then when it started rolling, it's like, oh, this is some American weird Netflix series or something. And then I was paying attention. It's like, oh, this is a German show. But they actually hired a cast to do the English dubbing instead of, like my Russian movies where it's one guy doing all the parts. Like when I think of dubbed movies, like that's what I think of, not like, oh, we're gonna hire a cast. So, yeah, it's interesting. About 8 episodes in,
So like the German, was it Red Rising? What was that British serial killer show?
Oh, Red Riding trilogy. Now, yeah, this is more like the German Lost / Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. It's not horribly original though. I will. It's time travel, and but it borrows from Lost, but kind of has the visual palette of Twin Peaks, like the '90s series, where it's kind of like static, not characters you really like, and sometimes it's people acting strangely emotional and then strangely unemotional, and I don't know if they're being told to act that way or they're German. I'm not sure which. And yeah, but it's cool. So yeah, it's kind of like a weird German mishmash of Lost, Needful Things, or Stranger Things, and
Needful Strangers.
Stranger Things.
There's Satan handing out trinkets. No, but it's kind of cool. It's got a great soundtrack. But it was so funny. I was like, wow, they did a great job producing this. But boy, their fucking ADR is terrible. Like, there's quality control on this.
Well, I think it's the same thing with what's that Netflix show where it's like the rain kills people if it hits them.
Yeah, that was like a Swedish one or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where it's like watching the trailer, like this looks interesting, but the fucking audio is way off. And like, oh, okay, yeah, that's
yeah. They got a bunch of those.
Yeah.
They recently have a zombie show that that one looked like it was. I think that one's made in America, but it looked like it was foreign just with the way the trailer, because it was like oddly like you never saw any characters talk to each other. I was like, oh, I bet this is like made in Sweden.
Oh, are
or
you
some
talking
shit.
about the one with like the Asian chick and then like there's a black soldier guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I watched the first 3 episodes and I looked at the episode list. It starts off like hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why?
Oh, the runtime?
Yeah, why does it go from hour-long episodes like half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour? Like, it does that for like the last half. And then it's like, if you watch the show like I did the first 3 episodes, it's like, wow, they did this really cheap because they're just driving around the same neighborhood, even though they're in different parts of town. And like, so and like it seems like my wife was like, I think this is the same people that did like Z Nation. This is their new show.
Well, that was Asylum that did that.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I never heard anything about it. I just watched it because it was on and it was something different. So I mean, it's pretty bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's the best show. It has a lot of archetypes for characters that I've like. Oh yeah, this is in another zombie film or whatever. And just stupid shit like a guy saying like this old lady can't drive because she's a bad driver, and then he proceeds not to pay attention to anything, get him in accidents, and get him attacked all the time in one episode until they all die. And it's like, yeah, you're a horrible driver, old woman.
Although one thing, this conversation, with the dark, especially makes me long for, I assume we're never gonna get it, is Comrade Detective season 2.
Oh yeah.
That first season was amazing.
Yeah, that was a cool show. I finally got through all of those. That was cool. Some of the shit they did, I can't believe they're doing that.
Yeah, I never got past the 2nd episode. So
Oh, you know, like I thought you suggested
I
it to me.
forgot about it.
Oh yeah, okay, it's great. It's really funny and like, well, it's like it has this weird like kind of Mystery Science Theater 3000 too, but it's like, you know, they're doing intentionally bad ADR and that's funny, and then like all the ridiculous plot points because it's like, oh, this, you know, the concept is like this is a communist country making a show to promote communist values and and to rail against capitalism. Because
That
like,
guy with Reagan mask.
but like it was but it was fabulously produced.
Yeah.
Like it looked like just a straight up like what it was produced was like a good detective show, and then they had this whole like ridiculous element ADR on top of it. And
Yeah, it was almost like Airplane, like the movie Airplane, if it had like good solid bones of a story under it, but just people acting ridiculously, but sincerely ridiculously.
Yeah.
Like not everything's deadpan, and it's
nothing's meant to be a joke, but it's played that way. Well, I mean, it's meant to be a joke, but like the best one was like when he goes to he's like, oh, I know somebody who knows about capitalism, and like he goes and visits somebody in prison, and like they're trying to figure out what the fuck a monopoly board is, and it's like, oh, he turned in his parents because they were like selling things from capitalism, and they're sitting there explaining what monopoly is. Like, well, in America, like people take things from the poor and give it to themselves. It's like that was great. And
Yeah,
a great soundtrack too. And
and a great set and a great look to it. Because didn't they film it in Romania?
yeah,
It was somewhere that looked like a real balkanized country from the 80s still.
yeah, they just basically just gave like this Romanian crew like, here you go, make this show, and gave them some money, and then like we're gonna just do all this shit in post. Because I believe you can just watch it in like Romanian and just not understand anything, and it just comes off as a cop show, a ridiculous cop show.
Oh, it's too bad I don't know Romanian. Otherwise.
It's like all the Romanians that live around here tell me it's basically kind of like Spanish. Like, really? I thought it was like
it's similar language structure.
yeah. I thought it was like a Slavic language. Like, no, it's different. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. They got like 50,000 words, so they repeat themselves often.
Introducing the
No,
Plus
no commercials.
Nexus Power Station. It's
God
a
damn
portable
it.
power
Paid for
station
this?
that can replace a gas.
Damn you, what culture? That was really delayed.
I was gonna say,
That
I
was
was like, I didn't
actually-
think your phone was even open, so that's kind of
20 minutes ago. So we read a book.
Yes, well, two of us.
Two of us did.
We're gonna ruin this completely for Andrew, and for all those,
By the time I get around to it,
yeah,
I'll probably forget.
and for all those listening.
And for also Mom, Dad, you're not going to get to enjoy this book. No, we read the latest installment of the Expanse series, Tiamat's Wrath.
What was the previous one? Persepolis something?
Cephalus Rising.
Was it Rising? Okay.
So,
Is there another one with Rising in the
I
title?
thought there was.
Or am I just like confusing that with Leviathan Wakes?
I think that's it. Where is it? Here it is. No, it isn't.
Let's see. I got all the books in my Amazon cart. Let's see. Let's see.
Leviathan Wakes, Caliban's War, Abaddon's Gate, Cibola Burn, Nemesis Games, Babylon's Ashes, Persepolis Rising, and Tiamat's Wrath.
I think that's it. I can't get
No,
the
I
page
don't.
up.
No ads.
All right, never mind. We'll continue anyways.
It's a bowl of
Yeah,
burn.
no, it's. Because Nemesis Games was the one with the gates. Yeah, Persepolis Rising was the one before this. And then the next one is As Yet Unnamed Final Novel. So yeah, you got them all.
Okay.
But do you have the director's cut of Reindeer Games?
Do not.
Yeah, I forget somebody was interviewing Charlize Theron. And it might have been the guy who does the Hot Ones stuff.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And he introduced Charlize Theron as like in one of her movies was he said like Monster and like all her. I think he said Mad Max, Monster, and Reindeer Games. She's like, really? Reindeer Games? That's the one you're going with?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. It's like we're gonna name all your weirdest movies.
So like the last one, the, was it the Laconians?
Yes.
Get some big secret. Well, they like ran away with the proto molecule, and it's kind of just surmised that they used it to create all this great technology that other people did not. And
Yeah,
then,
the Laconians are essentially a pure distillation of what the Martians were.
yeah,
But instead of terraforming a planet, their goal was to build an empire and to play around unrestricted with the proto molecule. And
yeah, this is where the series just basically turns into Star Wars.
they so yeah, they create now Persepolis Rising. Got to remember, there's a 30-year time jump.
Yeah.
So because it takes place like 30 years after, which actually gives some time for things to stretch out, and you don't build an empire in 2 years. This is that's the jumping off point for that, and then the jumping off point for this is the very end of that one. And then how much time passes?
I don't know. I was guessing anywhere from like months to years to like 5 years.
I thought it was 5 years. That's what the impression I got was.
Okay.
But I don't know where I got that impression.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some parts in the Naomi parts where she's like trying to coordinate this the rebellion, but like not get everybody killed.
Yeah.
And like there's parts in that where it kind of like intimates the passage of time.
Yeah.
But then like when you're with Holden, it just seems like he's like hanging out there, like, we gave him a suit and he's just hanging around because that's the ultimate way to
Show your enemies you're not afraid of them.
yeah.
Run of the palace. It's like, yeah, I don't care what you do. You don't bother. You don't mean anything anymore.
What can you do?
Yeah.
But there's also where you learn there's the giant structure they find. It's just like a giant diamond the size of Saturn that what do they call it? Do they call them like the builders or whatever? The aliens that came before? Do they have a name for them?
Yeah, they do, and I forget what it is. So there's two different aliens. There's the gate builders, and then there's the people that killed the gate builders. So yeah.
Which I'm somewhat hesitant about the ending of this. Well, not the book, but like the series in general. Because like these, the aliens that killed the gate builders, we pretty much know nothing about them. They're kind of like the White Walkers for the series.
And they're just malevolent.
Well, we don't even know that.
Well, yeah.
Like
their interests line up with ours.
Their mere existence just might like happen to like kill everything in the entire universe.
Could be.
It's like, oh, we don't mean to do that. But yeah, like we don't like. Also, that was the thing with the White Walkers for, there was one line for the last episode. They said like, the motivation for the Night King is that he just wants to end all of existence and all information, because.
Yeah.
He just wants to wipe out everything in the world, every known existence of man.
Does he have any like reason for that, or is that like when those like fairy people like put that thing in him? Is that just like the only thing keeping him going, or does he actually have any kind of internal development as to why he's trying to kill everything?
Well, from all the video breakdowns I've watched, for like things you missed and stuff like that, everybody keeps talking about whether or not he's, like, is he just commanding all these people like puppets, or is he actually rising the dead? Because he's like just basically a giant, like, all-powerful warg that can just like raise all these bodies and control all this shit. And it's just like, it seems like he just basically wants revenge on the human race in general just by wiping it out and making a clean slate and just making it be dark. It's pretty much the consensus that he just doesn't want life to exist anymore because life is what brought him this. So wiping it out would undo all of that. I mean, he would still exist and nobody would, unless he killed himself or something, but even then, I don't know. I mean, would he technically be able to do that? Could he even hold the dragon glass to stab himself.
He could just jump off a mountain while some dead guys down below hold up some spears.
True.
And he says "Cowabunga" on the way down. That's how the series ends.
Weird.
The only words he ever speaks, "Cowabunga." Which implies that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles existed sometime in this universe.
Either that or surface news.
Or it's the multiverse.
Yeah. Yeah, Stephen
yeah.
Stephen King picks it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't know anything about the aliens, and by the end of this book, we still don't know anything about the aliens.
And
No.
One book left after this, or
Yeah, just one more book.
Amos Burton seems to have some insight because of what happened to him, but it's
Yeah.
classic Amos Burton. Like, I'm going to say something horrible, and then we're not going to talk about it anymore. Like, that weird thing that runs through that character.
And then we got a new character with shit. What's the name of the Duarte's daughter?
Oh, Teresa Duarte or
Yeah.
Teresa? I'm not sure how they said it because I read it. I didn't listen to it. So,
Who's kind of like vaguely Princess Leia in this book.
kind of like a weird, angry Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, if Princess Leia was the daughter of Palpatine.
Yeah. And everyone's manipulating each other, and you know.
Who are the? And then you have the scientist lady.
Oh, Elvie Oyoki.
Is she? I don't remember her from. Is she in other books? I only vaguely. Her name sounds familiar, but I don't recall her.
She is the scientist that was which one was she on? New Terra? Because her and Holden met on, I think it was in Cibola Burn.
Oh, okay.
He was like somebody that she was on that ship, the Israel. Because I don't know if she was on the colony or she worked for an energy company or something. But anyway, yeah, she's a smart scientist lady who kind of like.
Well, she's tasked with figuring out who the fuck the aliens are.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of like, I think I have this figured out. They're like, fuck it, we're gonna start making super bombs to piss off the aliens that will kill everybody in the universe.
Yeah, that was what's he called? Duarte.
Yeah.
It's the high something.
High Council Duarte.
Yeah, that's it. High Council. Yeah, he's like, well, we think they threatened us, so we're gonna use antimatter bombs in the ring spaces to show them who's boss. And it's like, yeah, I read that. I was like, okay, these people really are lunatics. They don't even understand anything about the technology, but we're gonna scare the aliens with antimatter. It's like, I think they understand antimatter.
But
When
like
you
what?
fire a death weapon on your ship, you jump time for 10 minutes where you have no recollection of what happened. It's like, yeah, we'll show them with antimatter.
Because like they find this big structure. It's just a giant diamond in space, the size of Saturn, and then she's surmising that this is like a hard drive of the aliens that came.
Yeah, it's a diamond planet with all the information of the builder aliens encoded. It's like the ultimate Rosetta Stone.
Because they think that the builders were a hive mind, and the aliens that killed them, all they had to do was just kill one mind, and they killed them all.
Right.
And
Which
so
is why people keep losing time.
So like when and in the previous book they were firing off this super weapon, so basically they have their own Death Star because it's pretty much Star Wars now.
Yeah.
When they fired it off, everybody in the entire universe lost time. Like they just went to sleep and woke up. And they surmise that this is a response from the aliens that killed the builders. And then in this book, they go one further and suggest that because humanity's like simple but robust, that they can't just be all killed at once by these aliens like the other races were, or the other alien race was. But they're trying.
They're learning. Because they have the one universe that's a trap universe where it's a star that's about to become a supernova.
Yeah.
Because they sucked all the matter out of the solar system and it's all deposited around this star.
Yeah, they go into the system, and it's completely empty.
Yeah.
Like completely empty. No asteroids and nothing.
Dust, nothing.
And then when they piss off the aliens, they're like, matter's being created, and it's going towards this star. So basically, like, matter just appears out of nowhere, blows up this star, and fucks everything up.
Yeah. Everything in the ring spaces is wiped out.
Because, like, it's a... Wait, no,
Medina.
it wasn't just a star. It's like a binary star, right? It's, like, spinning around.
I think so. Whatever it was very
'cause-
close to being a black hole, I think.
Yeah, because, like, it was something like... Because when it blew up, it's like the poles ejected just, like, gamma radiation outwards, and it was, like, aimed at the gate. So, like,
Yeah.
everything in the gate or around the gate, like, just got fucked up. Because, like, well, not everything, but, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of things got fucked up, and that's where, like... And then, like, people that are inside the ring gate, like just, like, pieces of them are taken away, and, like, parts of the ship are just, like, disappeared. So people just, like, this thing happened, and, like, oh, I don't have a left foot anymore.
Yeah.
Which we surmise is the alien. Oh, and they also talk about how, like, everything kind of just, like, existed as atoms. Like, they were looking at the hands, and it was just everything, like, felt like it was individual atoms just kind of floating, not connected at all. Like, that's how they described it.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're on a lot of acid.
Well, there's a lot of weird things in these books. But
And then, so yeah, Naomi's trying to call together resistance. So she has a bunch of calls them messages in a bottle, and she's like firing these torpedoes with messages like randomly all over the place, so it can't be traced back to her. And they stole one of the Laconian ships in the last book, so that's like the only like heavy hitter they got. Because because after Persepolis Rising, all of humanity surrenders to the Laconians.
right.
So there's what was the shipping thing? The
shipping union or something.
Yeah, what the fuck's it called?
I thought that's what it was called.
Just the shipping union? Okay.
I think I'll have to look it up.
Because that becomes a big thing to try to at the end of Babylon's Ashes, they create this like trade union or whatever, or shipping union. Yeah, maybe it's shipping union. Yeah. And it gives the Belters this thing like, we're gonna, because there's also a thing with the ring gates. If you just keep sending ships in, like every like 30th one or whatever, it will just disappear.
Yeah.
And so they have, okay, we're gonna have the Belters like manage this. It's like, all right, we're gonna keep the traffic so like no ships disappear. And so that becomes, and because now you can expand into like 13,000 different worlds or whatever, it's like that becomes a really important part. And so now you give what's their name? The Belters like a reason to exist or have usefulness amongst like
Transport union.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So like actually the transport union becomes more powerful than Mars and Earth put together. And so they effectively represent like the solar system.
Oh yeah, because transport union gets you where you need to go across all these different gates.
Yeah.
Whereas Mars and Earth
Facing
just sits
guild.
there. So I mean, shit, I think they're more powerful, have more sway as far as the
But like, and also like,
of civilization.
but it's like it's headed up by the Belters. That's what like gives them importance, because the whole reason like I guess you haven't got the Nemesis game, so
No, I haven't even gotten.
so we don't remember for that. That's Nemesis game is the next, because like I feel like Abaddon's Gate is like one of the big like holy shit everything changes, and then Nemesis game is another one like holy shit everything changes. And then Persepolis Rises, holy shit everything changes. But they're kind of like internal trilogies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I still have to get through the second book and excuse me, and also.
Did you start it yet?
No.
Yeah, because you said you weirdly can't find a copy of it.
Well, yeah, I got it. I just haven't started
Okay.
it yet. been working 10-hour days and should have worked today, but I didn't. I said, fuck it, I was going to do yard work 'cause I needed to.
It's Nathan's. Well, is that your least favorite of the series, Sabol or
Caliban.
Caliban's War?
Yeah, it just didn't seem like it didn't build like the other one. I mean, there were towards the middle end it got really good,
Yeah.
but it seemed like all the interstitial stuff was sort of
Well,
established.
to be fair, you're coming off, the conflict between Earth, Mars, and the Belters and stuff like that, and then kind of that build up and seeing where it goes after the whole like Aero Station incident and stuff like that, and just like the virus and also their shit going on in Julie and
Well, I think in the book the big part of it is Bobby, and I think because she's a Marine, so I like imprinted a lot of things onto her that isn't actually there in the book, and I think that's like Nathan said she was basically just a cipher, or cipher, is that the right word?
Cipher, yeah.
A cipher for the audience, and so he got nothing out of her character in that book. So like, and that's like a third of the fucking book.
so it's
I don't know. I'm talking for you, Nathan. I thought that's what you said. I'm not sure.
Pretty much it, yeah.
So it's just like Bran's chapters in the Game of Thrones house. And Bran in the show. I get nothing out of it. He just exists and things happen around him. I think he is probably, unless something, I mean, I get the whole dynamic of him being like, he knows everything. He's like the Doctor Strange of that universe type of thing. I know that's powerful, but to see him just do nothing all the goddamn time for the most part is really fucking annoying. Especially when he's just like, where is he during the grand battle? He's flying ravens around. Like, that's what he's doing. Not that reconnaissance isn't useful, but Jesus goddamn Christ, does he not do anything in the books or in the goddamn show? It's basically like a big fucking, like, yep, you expect a cripple kid to have to be a good action hero or something, or I don't know what the fuck.
It's not uplifting.
No.
Everyone has a cynical purpose in Game of Thrones. I mean, there's a guy named fucking Hodor. What's he do? Holds the door. Your entire existence for this.
Well, oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say in the book yet he hasn't held the door, but maybe that's where it's going.
Oh, he did it in the book? That's
No, it hasn't gotten to.
Oh.
They're in the cave and he's learning from the guy right now, but that's it.
Oh yeah. You haven't finished the book series yet, right?
Well, I can't because the next book isn't out.
No, well, I mean like all the books that are currently
all
out.
the books that are out, I've finished them,
Okay.
including the prequel Ash and Blood. I've finished.
I hear this.
Bobby Draper has kind of an interesting end game in this book. As soon as it started happening, I was like, "Oh, are they going to Doctor Strangelove this shit?" Riding the antimatter bomb into the one was it the Eye of the Typhoon, or no, Eye of the Storm?
Yeah. Oh wait,
Yeah.
is that Yeah, wait. No, their ship's called the Gathering Storm.
Okay.
And then what are because they have these big ships that are basically the Death Stars.
Oh,
No, Heart of the Tempest.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Magnetar class battle cruiser. It's just huge, and it uses antimatter for power.
And they stole they crashed a supply ship, and the purpose was to get the political officer to see what he knows.
oh,
And then but everybody died during the break, like everyone got just spaced. But they just found these cases, and there's like one case on there that says like only plug into ship power for like 5 minutes, and like all this other stuff, and then like, what the fuck do we have here? And it's like, oh, it's antimatter. Like, oh fuck. But they're like, oh, we can make a bomb out of this. It's like, we can probably destroy that ship now. Because also the thing that they've done, and this is probably more interesting coming off the the Praetor Moon series, or what do you call that? What's the series that's called?
Oh, the ones that I like,
Yeah.
the Neil Asher series.
It doesn't have an encompassing name.
Yeah, it's what are those called?
Anyways, like the ship's hulls are like active, so they can heal themselves, and they like get stronger the more they get hit. So like that's why it's like, oh, we can take this thing out, because this thing got like when this thing showed up on Earth, like they just unloaded onto it.
yeah.
It's like, oh, we killed it. Nope. Nothing you can do.
Well, you know, it didn't help in the first book. They offloaded most of their nuclear weapon arsenal against Zero Station, and then just
They had 30 years to build it up.
Now, apparently, only the Laconians have antimatter, though.
Yeah, well, that's a new thing in the book. You find out that the Laconian system has like these leftover like
Base
shit.
yard.
Yeah, space yards or something that can make antimatter and these big ships that are just left over from the builders. And this is the first time I think we have something that was just like they found already built. It wasn't like constructed by the proto molecule. So that's kind of
Yeah.
a new wrinkle in what's happening. And
every time I see a Laconian, it just sounds like there's a intergalactic Native American tribe gonna take over the universe.
now they're just space Nazis.
Greeks, actually, but yeah.
Oh,
Space Greek Nazis.
I don't know. Should we go into just full on spoilers? Who dies, who lives, and all that stuff?
Oh, why not? That's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, because you're getting there.
I probably
Yeah.
Since the only character I probably know is Holden, that I'm pretty sure he's either dead or out of the books by now. So
No,
No.
he's good.
okay, after 30 years, okay.
Well, they keep mentioning it in the last book and this book. They've all been because there's been tons of advancements in technology and stuff because they've been to all these different worlds and shit, and there's been advancement in everything.
So now he doesn't need to take anti-rad medicine all the time now.
I don't. Well, that thing like permanent. That thing gets implanted, just like permanently does that. But
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
they talk about how they've been taking anti-aging medication. So essentially, like they're probably in their 60s and 70s, but like functionally they're probably like in their 40s.
Yeah.
And they look that way too, except for like some graying hair. They're
Except for gray pubes, everybody
Yeah.
knows that's a side effect.
can't stop that. can't stop the growing storm.
Well, and also if you're in zero gravity, you know you're not going to wear out your joints anytime soon. You throw that in with a lot of super advanced medicine. Yeah, I mean, well, and that's another. They kind of extended the life of everyone because they talked about anti-aging technology, and then in the end, Amos Burton is some weird construct of the repair droids.
Oh yeah, and also the Duarte. It was a thing in the book. They used the protomolecule to make him essentially immortal.
Yeah.
And they have one. Is that the guy that's a scientist there? That's like crazy. Is he like one of the guys from what's it? Something Abyss.
Yes.
That is he one of the scientists from that?
I believe so. He has
The
some expertise
Vital
in the-
Abyss.
Yeah, he has some expertise in the protomolecule because he's he's not actually a physician though. He's something else.
Well, he's the guy that says some like nano informatics or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I remember that was something about the character they kind of use as a stand-in for the people from the Vital Abyss in this TV show. So I thought it was like that guy.
I think it's something like that.
Because I know they've been like bringing things in from the TV shows and putting them in the books.
Yeah.
Because I remember like a bunch of people got mad that Holden's so young in the TV show, so they've kind of like moved things to like make it sound like he's younger in the later books.
Right.
But so yeah, he's immortal.
Bobby Draper dies. She goes out like she lived in battle because that was kind of thing.
Yeah, she like her ship gets fucked up because they're trying to like sneak around. So they have Gathering Storm pulling a decoy, and they have this little ship pop around. They're gonna drop off the antimatter bomb. Ship gets randomly hit by something. Like I don't even think it was intentionally hit, just like random point defense cannons, PDCs. Fucks up the ship. They can't drop off the antimatter. She takes it, gets on her, or I guess she's already in a power suit, goes out there and like perfectly drops it off to get like near the engines of the ship, and then just like fuck it, and then she just like puts on her guns and just like starts flying towards the ship, shooting, and immediately killed.
and the guy.
That blows up the ship. So
Yeah, I mean,
with an antimatter bomb near Saturn.
yeah, because they said it was as bright as the sun for like a few seconds. And who's the guy who's the pilot? I can only
Alex
think-
Kamal.
Yeah. I always think of the actor now, because the guy who plays him has a cool name. It's like Kaz Anvar or something.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
always think of him exactly as that guy, and I can never remember. Wait, oh, his name isn't that. It's something in the books. Yeah.
And I like in the audiobooks the way the guy reads them sounds kind of like the actor.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, he's been reading those books before the actor was ever cast. But like when you in the books, they always say Southern or Martian drawl, and so
Yeah,
the way
Mariner Valley.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Mariner Valley drawl, like the way he does it in the books is kind of the same way that he does it. The Cass Anvar does it. I fucked it up. The way he does it in the show.
Yeah. And then of course Christian Avasarala died like in the first page.
Yeah, the first
She,
sentence.
she would have been like over 100.
Yeah.
years old.
So
She still plays-
a fuckable 60-year-old.
Yeah, she still plays a part though as like not as an actual character, but everyone's trying to like, what would she say? And of course it's always something awful like, quit being a fucking coward. And go. She always had this horrible way of talking. So yeah, she still played a part though, as like when Holden was trying to figure out how to undermine Laconia by casual conversation. Which was like, well, he was never the subtlety guy. Now he's the subtlety guy. Okay. Got to change roles, I guess. Trying to think of who else. Those are like the major characters.
Yeah.
I mean, Amos Burton dies like in the first third of the book.
Yeah, like when that happens, like, oh shit, like everyone's dominoes are gonna fall because they
Yeah.
clearly said like he got his head shot off. And you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah, top of his head came off. It's like, well, they're not going to hook him up to an auto dock and fix that.
But then there's like later on, like they're talking to the Duarte's daughter, or was it Teresa?
Yeah.
And they're like, where is he? Because like she was like sneaking off away from like, you know, because she's always under watch, and she's been sneaking off and just like hanging out in the mountains. And Amos is there trying to build a bomb out of a microwave. Like he's trying to use microwave parts to make a nuke. And so she's just been hanging out with him. She just thought he was like some eccentric monk in the mountains or something. And she's like the only one he can be honest with. And then one day she goes up there, and then like they find him there, and you know, they just fucking shoot his head.
Yeah.
But I mean, he takes some people out, but then like they're like, all right, where is he? He's like, well, I'm pretty sure he's fucking dead. So where the fuck is he? And that's when they reveal things like there's these drones there, and they're not ones that the humans built. They're just there from the builders previously, and they just try to understand and fix things. And then you find out like later on, like the scientist lady, they show her these two children who died on the planet around these drones, these repair drones, and they tried to repair them. And like they're just like, now we're just immortally children with like black eyes, and they think way differently. They don't necessarily like think like children because now they're kind of influenced by the builders' kind of like thought process, but they're immortal children essentially.
They have gray skin. I thought that was a horrible introduction because that evil doctor just did all kinds of experiments to him. And Elvie, even though she works for the Laconians, she's kind of a sympathetic. She's not an evil person.
Yeah.
But she's a scientist. And the kids meet her and they're like, are you going to hurt us too? And in her mind, she was like, oh, fuck this. I want to be within a million miles of the guy and whatever his research are. She doesn't say that, but she always tries to undermine that Duarte's doctor, who himself wants to be immortal.
Yeah, because that was the end of the last book. It says only one person gets to be immortal.
Yeah.
Also, like at some point, when they try to piss off the other aliens and they do the thing when they black everybody out, basically Duarte goes brain dead, or he's he's vaguely there. He can like be mobile, but like he's like no conscious mind whatsoever.
Basically, has extreme dementia
Yeah.
because whatever they did to make him immortal with the protomolecule also made him susceptible to that hive mind attack partially. Well, at least that's the theory. So yeah, he's essentially that's why the Empire has no good leadership.
But then because of that, at some point he just has the Force.
Well,
Yeah, that got
Gotta throw Star Wars in there too.
Because like he I don't know, he like him and his daughter are together, and that crazy scientist dude is there. Like, are they trying to get something? I can't remember what they're trying to do with Duarte.
well, they're trying to film him sitting there.
Oh right, they're trying to fake the
Yeah,
They want to fake a broadcast for him to like everything's okay. We're gonna do this, everybody, because nobody knows that like their leadership is completely brain dead right now. And while doing that, Duarte just I don't know if he senses something, but he like senses the danger of this guy towards his daughter, and he just kind of like mouths an O word, like oh, like that's, and then like the doctor basically just his chest just like evaporates, like in an explosion. Like the way he made the O sound, like spread out and like eviscerated the guy's chest.
and then the guy who's the admiral, what's his name, Treasure? They were saying, go. Hey, could you guys talk amongst yourself for like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Any questions you have so far about this book?
Well, I don't know who most characters are
Yeah.
because they haven't been introduced yet. And
I'm not sure. I'm not sure when the fuck Duarte is introduced. Like he's gonna be a part of Nemesis games, I believe.
yeah,
But like just in names only, because he's not like an active part of it. Because like his whole thing is like they took all this shit and ran.
yeah,
Because like in Nemesis game they have this concept of the Free Navy, which is like mostly Martian ships and these new ship they've built, and then like they're going against Earth and Mars at the same time. And then when shit goes haywire, Duarte and his people, they just get the fuck out of there. And they just take off to one of the systems, Laconia. And that's where they go, and because they had the protomolecule, that's when they go and build their whole society and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah, Nemesis. My favorite is Abaddon's Gate, but like Nemesis game is pretty. That's where just like, just so much crazy shit. Well, like Abaddon's Gate's more crazy because that's more like unknown stuff. That's like alien technology creating gates and all that shit. You've been through the whole like series, right? Or the TV series, right? You saw all of it.
just first season.
Oh, just first. Oh, okay. Well, shit.
Well, because that's all I had access to at the time, and I haven't caught up with it. Because
Yeah, they're all.
my wife totally, she was like, "Oh, I don't care about that show," and then she watched like the first 2 episodes, like this show's awesome, and then she's like, "Yeah, wait for me to catch up," and she still hasn't watched the first season. So,
because yeah, they're all on Amazon now, but also like you have the Fire Stick, and I bought the seasons, so
Yeah.
they're on there anyways.
no, I've been meaning to get to it, but it's just like, well, there's like 20 million fucking things to watch, and I never seem
Yeah.
to have enough time in the day. I haven't even watched like the second season of Attack on Titan. That's been on Hulu for fucking ever.
Yeah, yeah.
I've watched
Well,
like, the
the
first
season
3
3
episodes.
season 3's out too.
Oh Jesus Christ!
But season 3 is not dubbed.
Oh, so it's all subtitled.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
I
is
think I
fine,
just-
but,
I think I watched the subtitle. I mean, the dubbing sometimes I watch, but I didn't really. I think Netflix when they first aired, it wasn't dubbed; it was just subtitled.
No.
So I just kind of got used to watching the subtitles.
Yeah. Well, I would like to spend the time to pay attention to
Oh,
a show like that to read all the subtitles, but I like to, especially for the show, consume multiple medias at the same time in order to.
well, plus like Original Sins, like I've gotten, or I'm sure like the fucking 3rd season for that's out soon, or it's done now. But fucking like I've been meaning to watch the rest of the 2nd season of that too, because that was a good anime, and I've only watched like the first couple episodes of that 2nd season.
The one I recently watched, it's on Hulu. It's called My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Because I heard a bunch of stuff about that, so I just went like, fuck it, I'll watch it. It's pretty good. It's like the guy who does the voice for his name's Allspark. He's basically the Superman of the show.
Yeah.
He's like he kind of plays it like a Phil Hartman voice, like from a Simpsons character. I was like, ha ha, I'm Allspark.
Yeah, I've seen trailers. That I just haven't watched it.
It's pretty good.
Well, there's
The
like,
second season basically becomes Dragon Ball Z.
in like another fucking month or two, like the new show on Amazon will be out with Carl Urban, where it's like he just fucking goes around like giving superheroes their just desserts for being a-holes.
Oh yeah, The Boys.
Yeah, and like that looks fucking solid, or at least just from the trailer.
And I think Simon Pegg's gonna be in that
Oh really?
because literally in the comic, he's in that comic.
Oh, I guess I know it's based on a comic because I don't even get. I feel so fucking out of touch with shit. Like I can barely keep up with popular TV shows, let alone
Yeah.
stuff that come out in
Yeah,
comics, video games.
I believe
and
I
everything
believe
else.
it's a Garth Ennis joint. I believe it's the guy who did Preacher.
Oh, okay.
Did that book. But yeah, it's just like humans, like it kind of has that kind of like Watchmen kind of vibe, but it's like humans like, no, we need to keep superheroes in check, and they fuck people up.
And my wife's been rewatching
Okay, I'm back.
Preacher because we watched the first season. That's all I've ever watched of it.
Of what?
Preacher.
Oh, Preacher. Yeah.
Well, because that's the last season's ending, or isn't?
The next season is the last season.
Okay. I was gonna say is like I know it's getting canceled or it's done.
Well, no, I think they're just ending it,
Oh, okay.
or they just like, yo, we're not gonna do anymore.
I mean, the first season was pretty solid. It's slow burning, and it takes a while to build up to stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, well, the first season's kind of amazing in a way that they almost use nothing from the comic book to make that season.
Yeah, and I haven't read enough of the comic books to know that. So I mean, it's still a good show. I mean, it's not anything against.
Because
it.
like literally in the like first like 3 pages of that book, everybody's in the church and they all die.
Yeah. It's like I was kind of waiting for that moment because I knew that happened in the comic book, but I'm like, oh, okay, that never happened.
So it's kind of amazing they spend a whole season to get to the start of the first book.
Oh yeah, by the way, Nathan, we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race.
That's what I thought.
Get it, Queen.
But no, Kyle was because he was asking me if I like the idea of the book you're talking about or what I was confused by. I'm like everything because I know none of these characters' names or what they do. I think I've heard Bobby referenced before in some of the other books because Colin was talking about scenes with her and stuff like that, and like I think like she starts like book 3 or 4. Does she?
No, it's the second one, Caliban's War.
Second one.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's like, yeah, her, I kind of like have an idea who she is, but everybody else, I'm like, yep, that person. like, it's like,
Well, it's still Naomi, Holden, and Amos.
well, isn't Naomi Holden the? Oh fuck. Because that's why I find confusing on the TV show. The first season of the TV show has a lot of politics on Earth shit that doesn't happen at all in the books.
Yeah.
For the first book, so I'm assuming it's a pullover from the second or third book that they draw into season 1.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to like, we're gonna introduce Avasarala now,
Yeah.
and like kind of give her something to do beforehand, so we don't have to introduce her then because she's gonna be an important then too. So.
Yeah.
But like they don't. Yeah, is there any introduction of Bobby in the first season on the TV show?
No.
No. Okay.
Because the first season of the TV show
second season starts out with. Yeah, because it's actually the first part of it that's on Mars. Because the only Martians you see in the first season are like the people from the Doninger.
Okay. Yeah. That's right.
and the first season doesn't even get to the end of Leviathan Wakes. So
No.
I mean, it's a great ending point for the season, but it doesn't get to the end.
No.
They did a pretty good job adapting a pretty ominous novel to try to adapt, and they do a pretty good job of expressing it.
Yeah. Basically. The first whole season is just half of Leviathan Wakes, then half of season 2 finishes Leviathan Wakes, then the rest of the half is just the start of Caliban's War, and the third season, the half of that season finishes Caliban War, and then they do all of Abaddon's Gate in the half of the last season, which was a bummer to me because that's my favorite book of the series.
Well,
But it all made sense.
I mean, they have to catch up at some point, though. I mean,
Well, yeah, because it was gonna get it canceled, so.
well, yeah, it's just something where it's like because Walking Dead's still, at least for now, not canceled or anything, right? Like it's in its like 10th season or no.
I guess it officially hasn't been canceled.
I mean, it's
Like, I kind of just assumed it was, but I'm like, all right, it hasn't, and they're gonna make like even a third series.
well, I mean, because Andrew Lincoln's off the show now.
yeah,
and then,
yeah. I kind of just assumed when he's off the show's over, but I guess not.
Well, I mean, Michonne's still on there, and so is Daryl.
He's
I think,
coming
or-
back though.
Well, they're doing like movies or whatever.
Yeah.
But they also said that about fucking Deadwood, so.
That's true.
Well, I thought no, Deadwood's getting a movie.
Yeah, finally, but like
Oh.
when that show ended, they say we're gonna do 3 movies. We're gonna do like a movie every year in memorial of Deadwood, the TV show. And guess what? 10 years, 1 movie, and it's not even done.
Yeah. I
Still
guess I
working
didn't
on
know about the 3 movie thing with that. I just was like, well, it's getting a movie. I mean, it's like the Veronica Mars reboot now, where it's that TV show's starting up again.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's everything kind of comes full circle in the age of Hollywood doesn't have anything better to do besides throw money at stuff that was or might have been successful with a better audience. So, I mean, Walking Dead, like, that's kind of hitting the point where it's like caught up with the comic books, but still not really. So I don't know where that would lead. But it's also not on the same complete trajectory. Not all the same characters are dead. They're not in the same places. The plot's not exactly the same. So it's like, because I don't. Did Rick ever lose one of his fucking hands in the goddamn show? Because he never did up to the
I don't know.
8th season or something.
Well, I stopped watching it like the 4th season.
Okay,
So.
I was gonna say it's like I've watched all but the newest season on Netflix so far because I'm dreading watching it because it's like supposedly this is bad, but at the same time I still enjoy it, so it's hard for me not to watch it. So.
I read something that has nothing to do with the show, but it seemed really sad the other day. It said the last episode of Gotham, like they had their series finale, was the lowest rated episode they ever had. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did they do to that show? And the last episode is your least watched.
Yeah, it's a good fuck you from the Oh, they're going off the air. Good. Fuck it. Maybe it's all a dream and a crystal globe. Same. Yeah, you really gotta hate you.
No, I'm surprised that show lasted as long as it did because I think it almost got canceled after the first season.
I thought it had really good ratings in the first season, but maybe it dropped off towards the end. I don't know.
Oh, it might have. I mean, it's even non-cable shows are still pretty rickety anymore. I'm surprised that they're still. I'm pretty sure streaming's keeping a lot of television shows alive.
Yeah.
Because like AP Bio, like that seems to only get half seasons for as good of a show as that is. Because shit, even just the last episode we watched, it was like fucking. The episode opens with Patton Oswalt giving a speech about the the fucking weekly school newsletter, and it's like, we're very sorry about the swastika on the newspaper. I'm sorry, I can't draw octopuses or whatever. And it was like, and it was like, what the fuck? And it was the whole episode was about the sugar daddy litterer, and also fucking what's his name trying to start a viral video to cancel out his other viral video that he hurt himself in. But it's the whole episode they're making fun of a movie that's at least 14 years old that nobody probably saw called Doubt with Glenn Close and fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like the whole fucking
priest? Yeah.
the whole movie, like the kids are quoting it, like fucking Durbin's acting like the priest, and then the secretary's acting like the nun that's trying to find out if he's like he's the litterer or not, and everybody acts ashamed and just like she even says like I have doubt, and just like they're making fun of that movie the whole episode, and I'm like, who has that kind of balls to write an episode for mainstream TV this day and age that makes fun of an Oscar movie in fucking like the year 2002 or some shit? Like,
I mean, it is on NBC. They don't really have a whole lot of high standards for ratings.
I know,
so.
but I love that idea that like they're just fucking with that, and just like either some writer just finally watched that and was like, let's fucking rip this movie a new one, or somebody was like, yeah, we should really do this. You know, this would be a good episode arc, and it was fucking brilliant.
So Amos Burton is resurrected by the repair drones, and now he seems to be basically the same as ever before, but now just somewhat weirder.
Yeah, just with he's still a weird.
He's a weird sociopath allied with good people.
He's a weird sociopath who tries to be good but doesn't achieve it.
He's,
And everyone
Well, he doesn't have any kind of morals himself, but he knows he anticipates when other people do. So he's going to protect the moral people with all of his ability to not care about killing people.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, he has one line because Holden's asking him, because of course he has completely black eyes now, including the sclera. So your eyes are like black orbs, like the white part of your eyes is black. There's no center point, and he's
Well,
got
that's
this
not
gray
disturbing.
skin that looks like gray that's been undercoated and primed in black and kind of rubbed away. So it's like, yeah, it's gray, but it looks like it's that kind of gray that looks black underneath. And so he's not a normal looking person anymore. And then but he talks the same as he does, and right at the end of the book he's like, oh, by the way, Captain, those things out there, they're gonna kill us all. Just wanted you to know that. And then they just kind of drop it. Else. It's like, wait a minute, let's come back to this.
Yeah, because they escape. Holden gets rescued by Naomi and Alex. Alex quits working on the Gathering Storm after Bobby dies, and they go and pick up the Rocinante.
Yeah.
And so they get the crew back together, and so it's him and Naomi, and they
I guess I never heard it pronounced like that. That's why I didn't recognize it right away.
what
The ship name that they were.
Rocinante?
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it, right?
I have no idea. I just when you read a book, you pronounce things because you guys probably did the audiobook. I read.
I did the
physical
audiobook.
Okay.
Yeah, I read them. I'm too cheap to spring for the audio.
Oh.
Yeah, so I always hear Rocinante, but the one that gets me always fucks me up is I hear Avasarala,
Oh.
and people say, how do people say it? Like other people say it a different way. It's like
Varsala?
yeah, Avasarala, yeah, something like that. But I always hear, but he always reads it as Avasarala, which that's the way I always accept it. But it's like, but then the actress who plays Avasarala, she says it a different way, and because she's so fucking great at that role, he's like, that's the way it is now.
I'm not going to argue with her. Well, she's Iranian. That's what's weird. She's an Iranian woman playing an Indian character who is actually was raised in North America in the books.
Yeah.
But she's like an Indian. But Christian is a Scandinavian name, so it just shows that Earth is like there's not really any division among people anymore, because 90% of the population is just on welfare, and everyone else runs things at the top.
Yeah, so they go. So Naomi gathers all the people that they can, because at this point, when the aliens fucked everything up, the Laconians aren't in the ring gates to patrol things anymore because it's too dangerous. So that's when Naomi can gather an army together, and then they go after Laconia. Specifically, they're trying to blow up the shipyards so they can't make antimatter or these Magnetar spaceships anymore.
Yeah.
So they blow that up, and then they incidentally at the same time. They thought Holden. Well, I guess they knew Holden was alive, but they thought Amos was dead. They get a beacon from him that says, "Hey, pick us up." Mm-hmm. And so they gamble and they rescue everybody and they get off the ship. And like they notice like, "Hey, something's weird with Amos," but never mind. Let's not die. And then when everything's like chill, there's even that part where like they get like 3 months away from the planet and they still like. Oh wait, we should fire a torpedo at them. And then there's no chance for the torpedo to hit them. It just shoots it down immediately. But they had to pretend to do something. It's like, oh, should we kill the princess? Oh well. So that's when Holden has to think about it. I was like, oh shit, am I gonna have to kill Amos because he's something weird and evil? And that's when like it becomes like this weird tense conversation when he just goes down there. It's like, hey, you didn't check in with the med bay. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't really know what to make of me anymore.
Well, I was funny. Just as I left, there was something I wanted to say about that scene when Duarte eviscerates his doctor. The one colonel or whatever, tells Admiral Trejo, we need to shoot him right now. And Trejo pulls out his gun and he's like, after that, you go in there and shoot him. I didn't think that's like, you first. Make this happen. We'll watch. Yeah, there's some good. I enjoyed this book.
Yeah.
I mean, I read it in like
Well,
a
you
week.
use the phrase "a return to form," which makes me think you didn't really like Persepolis Rising so much. So.
Well, Persepolis Rising was one of those books. It's kind of like Chapter House Dune, where they got to set the stage for the next book
Yeah.
when it all comes together. And it's like, yeah, in this book, some things come together and pay off. Of course, new things are introduced, but old things pay off, which is what makes the Expanse series consistent but frustrating at the same time. Sometimes you read like, oh, is this a payoff book or is this a setup book?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What's this going to be? Because you get that a lot with long form series where there's 6, 8, 12 books in it. It's like, oh, is this a setup or a payoff? And then I've been burned by long form series books. Long fan of the Wheel of Time. Like, oh, fuck you. You know, when we're getting into 12 books deep, it's like, I give up. But these, the Expanse manages to do it right, because something builds, something happens, and then we're introducing a new thing. We're not just letting it build up for 7 novels, and then it's all going to pay off in the last what? Because that never works. Very few people can pull that off. I mean, Frank Herbert couldn't pull it off. So these guys, I kind of like the way they do it for that reason. So yeah, that's what I meant by return to form, is like, oh, this is a payoff novel.
Okay.
And then the last one's going to be a big payoff novel. Because what do you call that? Like, because like Caliban's War, like that's like a world building section. It's like, we got to have this world building novel.
Well, actually, I think Caliban's more of an action movie.
Kind of,
because that's kind of like the most like ship to ship action and like people fighting and a lot of weird shit going on, where Holden has to go on an infected spaceship to get a thing to blow up another spaceship.
Yeah, but when I say I don't like that book, that's kind of, I see that as like a bridge book.
Yeah.
That's my personal frustration.
Well, I remember like when Leviathan Wake came out, like you were like really high on it.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, fucking read this book, and I did, and like I actually like read that one. I probably would have liked it better if I did audiobook, but like I just came away from it. It's like, yeah, it's a cool space novel with zombies. Like, who gives a shit? Because I kind of, the way they describe the the proto-molecule people, it's like, okay, we just got zombies now. I didn't really see like where they were going with the proto-molecule as like this kind of like all-encompassing thing where it can like anything can happen with a proto-molecule, because I just thought like, oh, zombies can happen with the proto-molecule.
Yeah.
And then I remember when the second book came out, you're like, don't bother. And then when the third book came out, it's like, all right, join in.
Come back. Yeah. So yeah, this is one of those trends where I was an early adopter. That's why I kind of got annoyed. It's like, they're coming out with it was all a big deal. Like, Sci-Fi's coming out with a movie or a TV series based on these novels. It's like, yeah, no shit. I fucking read them all. But see, they're actually publishing the novels, and then not with a 5-year gap. Like, they're pretty much year. I think this one took a little longer.
Yeah.
But I think they're also working on the TV show and with the TV show.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. And now the TV show's on Amazon at some point.
Well, it's all on Amazon now. I just don't know when like the new season's coming.
Yeah,
out.
I don't know. That's what I mean.
The new season, principal photography is completed, so it's all post-production now. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, to wrap up this evening, we watched a movie. Or did we? I did.
I fell asleep during it, but that's not the movie's fault. It was 2 a.m.
Oh, okay. So we watched a movie and read a book based on a movie. The 1999 Martin Scorsese film, Nicolas Cage vehicle, Bringing Out the Dead, which was... I hadn't watched this movie in a long, long time. Probably since like 2000, maybe 2001.
Yeah.
I think when I watched this movie, like Blockbuster was still where you went and got all your movies to see.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking it was just weird.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is like gritty New York at night. Similar.
I think some people see this as like a stumble from Martin Scorsese, but
I wouldn't say that. But
Well, I mean, financially, this movie did not
Yeah,
make
oh,
its
yeah,
money.
yeah.
But I think,
Hugo was a stumble for Martin.
but I think people see this as kind of like an odd movie for Martin Scorsese. Maybe before like Shutter Island, this is probably his weirdest movie he made.
Yeah.
Well, Martin Scorsese is one that optioned the rights to this book, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he really wanted to do it.
Well, it's also it's a movie about New York, so it's like who else do you get? You get fucking Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, so this movie was kind of seen as a stumble for him by some people. I liked it, but I liked
Well,
it.
Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars, so
Well, yeah,
it was critically acclaimed.
yeah, but it didn't get the audiences in theaters.
Yeah.
Well, it's an odd.
Well, it's a
It's-
fucking depressing movie. Too.
No, it's a super depressing book and a really odd book. It has a lot of visually disturbing scenes in a book, let alone in a fucking movie to try and translate and put, because it's rated R movie, right? If I remember right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
I mean, so
Yeah.
that helps, but it's not gonna, with like some of the descriptive scenes in the book where like he talks about his like love interest basically, or the woman he's kind of interested in, the father that like basically dead from a heart attack that he like resuscitates, and like in the book is like his flesh looked green, and he was obviously not breathing in the 90 or like the 100 some degree heat of the apartment. And the woman crying like over his body, like please save him or whatever, and it's like yeah, and I get him to his heart to beat again, but he's not moving, he's not opening his eyes. And he's
Oh,
just
is the book in first person?
well, it's more or less an introspective, but also just kind of like him
No.
talking about.
Do you know anything about like is this based on someone's life or is this just purely fiction?
No, it's fiction.
Okay.
But no, it's just him battling like fucking being addicted to alcohol, drugs, not getting any goddamn sleep, being haunted, and just basically being a wreck of a human being, just going around saving lives day to day and being fed up with it, but also like needing it. So it's
And also probably works as a weird companion piece with Fight Club.
Well, yeah. That's one of the things, because I think is this movie set in the 70s?
I read the wiki and it said it's supposed to take place in early 1990s.
yeah.
Although I totally get that 70s vibe because the soundtrack is basically 60s and 70s, and there's a lot of like kind of like costuming that looks almost 60s and 70s. At least like the security uniform, like that one
Yeah.
the black guy, the black security guy, he kind of looks like he's like straight out of the 70s wearing sunglasses, and there was a weird it reminded me of Do the Right Thing, especially we were talking about that recently, where there's like these like weird vignettes where there's kind of like zoom in Dutch tilt and the security guard's gonna say like, hey, don't get that shit out of here. It's like it's almost like a Radio Raheem section. It's like this is a weird movie for Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, because I saw this as a companion to Taxi Driver, not because I thought the stories were exactly the same, but I like the crazy New York at night,
Yeah.
which all over Taxi Driver, which is very much a 70s movie. And so I kind of placed this in the 70s because of that. It's just that's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it definitely has that vibe.
yeah, but anything New York at night, Scorsese, I'm always gonna think like, oh, this is, Taxi Driver, and also this had the same screenwriter as Taxi Driver, so that might explain similarities. Different characters though, not people that are insane for a different reason in this. Like, you can understand why these people are crazy.
Did the book have a different time and setting?
No, it was like 90s. It wasn't
Okay.
me.
Okay.
It didn't really specify that it was later or future or anything. It was just pretty much
Well, when did you first read the book?
right before I watched the movie.
Okay.
So it was something I checked out at the library when I was in high school and read.
Huh.
Very depressing book for a high school student to read.
Yeah.
We all got to read Anne Frank.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was depressing too.
A
I
kid
don't know.
dies in the end.
You know what's gonna happen. So
Well, it's depressing for the ending, but it's not depressing. I mean, some of the subject matter is bleak, but it's not like overtly graphic, bleak, and weird. And because this is like him fucking like almost. I mean, in the book, it's just like one macabre, weird death scene to the next, or fucking weird patient to deal with, or hallucination, or drug binge, or whatever. It's just like Anne Frank didn't write it, but like I did too much blow last night. I hallucinated the Nazis were in, and I started saying die, and woke up in a pool of my own vomit. Like, no, and Anne Frank didn't write that. So I mean, it's not anything that I would say is high school material, I guess.
One of the other things I liked about this movie, this was very much seemed to be a movie about insomnia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he very much can't. Yeah, he can't sleep. He hallucinates because of that too.
Well, and his makeup makes him look like he's one of the Walking Dead. and there's some scenes in this movie, because there's parts of this movie that are like they have dreamlike qualities.
Yeah.
Like there's weird hallucinations, which there's things that are obvious, but even some of the dialogue scenes, it's shot in this kind of gauzy white light that it's like, oh, that's what things look like when you don't sleep for 3 days and stuff. Like everyone has this corona around them because your brain is starting to die because you haven't slept in so long. And I don't know if that was deliberate, my interpretation or whatever, but it's something I liked, like the visual aesthetic of this movie.
Well,
Was another of it was the dream.
No,
it kind of had that, because also there's a bunch of movies, especially in this year, that kind of had that Bleach bypass look. Like we start with Three Kings, like that look where it's like the dark's really dark. This kind of has that look to it. I'm not sure if it was intention. There could have been something they did in post processing, but I'm not sure if this is a Bleach bypass movie or not.
I don't know, but I know there's a lot of scenes where like Frank is talking to Mary and some of the other people, and it's like he's talking, and it's almost like he's backlit, or he has this like this gauzy coronal thing, but they're doing straight dialogue. Like it's not a dream sequence, but it gets that dream-like quality to it.
Yeah,
which that's what makes the aesthetically this movie's really cool. And Nicolas Cage does his typical over the top crazy person, It's like, yeah, that's Nicolas Cage. That's what he does best. Some people call it overacting. I just think it's like, yeah.
Especially a scene where he's like, bees, not bees. Ah. Oh, wait, Wicker Man. Oh, shit.
Wrong movie. But he could have said that. It would have fit in like, yeah, okay.
John Goodman is his first partner in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this movie is really good for the actors, and at the time I watched the movie, I didn't actually know this is Martin Scorsese movie.
Oh yeah,
because I hadn't actually gotten into Martin Scorsese movies at the moment before then. So
yeah, this was like 3 years after Casino. Like this is another reason probably this movie wasn't a huge commercial success, because this is like everyone was expecting another. It's like, so when are these guys gonna kill someone for the mob? It's like, no, they're paramedics in Hell's Kitchen. So
yeah,
when's Daredevil gonna show up?
Ben Affleck better make an appearance or I'm walking out.
Who's gonna rob a bank?
No,
cut up a hooker with a straight razor. It's like, what? It's not gonna happen in this movie.
No,
this movie has the first scene in a movie I remember showing that using Narcan.
Oh yeah.
Like that was an early scene when Ving Rhames was like, "Oh Lord, save this one!" After he gives him the Narcan, and all of a sudden the guy like jumps up, and everyone's like, "It's a miracle!" But everyone knows.
And then everybody just connects Pulp Fiction with Ving Rhames, and that's
yeah.
Yeah, Narcan before it cost $30,000 a shot.
And they could get it free. It's like, you want Narcan? We'll give it to you by the pound. This was before everyone was addicted to heroin, not just people in, lower Manhattan, or upper Manhattan, or wherever it is. New York.
I almost remembered the stuff playing the Spider-Man game. I almost got the boroughs down.
Oh, okay.
Now it's all gone.
Yeah, and Tom Sizemore was in this.
Is he the third one?
Yeah, he's the violent paramedic, or seemingly violent paramedic.
I think in the wiki it said enthusiastic and violent paramedic.
Oh, I just remember him as the violent because he was always jamming the gear shifter. All that's gonna do is blow your engine up, but in the movie it looks cool. But yeah, that's Yeah, everyone did a good job acting in this. Even Patricia Arquette. I think she did the best job acting in this. Because kind of the normal character, sort of normal.
Well, I mean, she had the awkward role. She was kind of supposed to be the balance between all the fucking craziness going on. So, or at least his anchor, maybe. At least that's kind of the way it is in the book. It's almost like she's the one that's kind of like maybe he'll realize that she's his saving.
They're gonna
grace.
save each other.
Yeah, kind of fucking thing. But I can't remember now because I know Patricia Arquette was in the movie, but I can't remember her parts that much. So
Yeah, I mean, she was just the daughter of the dad, and
Yeah.
and then she's a drug addict at some point.
oh,
Yes.
Because that's like how she knows the one guy. Was it Noel, the guy who's constantly crazy and like, no, don't drink water, you'll kill yourself.
And then this, a lot of people don't know Queen Latifah, voice only role in this.
Oh yeah, it's her and Martin Scorsese as the ambulance dispatcher.
Yeah, the dispatchers. Yep. That's who Ving Rhames was talking to. Baby, I got you. Just that crazy. That's
Also, like some of the side characters where they just like cut to a doctor and there's like, it's like, why are we gonna admit you? You're just gonna hurt yourself and be back here again. That weird shit like that. It's like, oh yeah, these are the lovable losers of New York.
yeah.
Or no, what was I gonna say? Lovable losers and it wasn't losers and winners because nobody in this is winning.
They're just less fucked up. More and less fucked up.
I more or less have my shit together, but so much shit is going on that it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Can't keep up with it all.
Just understaffed and overworked. But yeah, it was like what was it? It was a new strain of heroin which caused like this kind of
Wasn't
epidemic.
it called like Red Death or something?
Yeah.
Like had a fun name. Like, yeah, I want to shoot that up. Yeah, what was it called? Red something.
I think it's Red Death.
Was it? Let me look. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Red Death. Okay. That was Red Demon or
Was that what was called in the book, or does it even come up as that, or is it just?
I don't
heroin?
remember that.
Okay.
part of what-
Yeah, they start making a point of because like they have the one drug dealer, and they start making a point that like, oh, this drug is called Red Death,
Oh, I mean, it makes
or at
sense.
least it's like written on something like.
Well, it makes sense with the red cross that kind of outlines Nicolas Cage's face on the fucking movie poster and shit. So.
Which is so when I went to the Amazon page, to which we could not watch this movie because it has recently been taken off Amazon, not even to buy.
yeah, for rights issues. So I had to go pirate it from the Russians. Thanks, Sam.
Like
I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
the cover art's just like a standard like picture. It's just Nicolas Cage, and it's just like in a scene. It doesn't have that cool like his eyes, bloodshot red eyes, and like it's like and he's like encased by the cross in like a red case, which is a really cool fucking cover. It's just this really generic. Like, why the fuck would you do that? This is like one of the coolest covers there is. Like, why would you fuck that up? Or maybe that's the rights issue.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be. That's the one. That's the one.
What studio put out this movie? Miramax?
Buena Vista?
What have you seen?
Oh, that's
Oh no, Paramount Touchstone produced it. Buena Vista distributed it.
Buena Vista's Disney,
Yeah.
or at least it
So
would have been
Disney-
then.
Disney did that. Fucking Disney. They ruined this and they ruined Star Wars. Ruined my childhood.
Don't worry, Nathan. Now they're gonna ruin MASH.
Yeah. Another home run, huh?
That'd be a weird thing. It's like Disney acquires Fox. Now we're gonna redo MASH.
Yeah,
I think Fox owns MASH, right?
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah.
Not anymore. I mean, I think all Fox owns anymore for our intellectual properties is just Fox News and Fox Sports.
Well, yeah, it's like Fox Entertainment and Fox News are now just separate.
Yeah.
So there is no just like just Fox. No, there's Fox Entertainment and Fox News.
Yeah, because Fox News and Fox Sports are the only profitable arms of Fox.
Oh, did Fox Sports stay with Fox News as well?
I think so. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
don't
thought
know.
Disney pretty much only bought them for all their TV and movies.
Oh yeah, get the X-Men.
I mean,
Start with that.
I mean,
we gotta
Disney
do after Endgame. What are we gonna do? We got X-Men now.
I mean, Disney already has ESPN and ABC, so
Yeah.
I mean, sports wouldn't necessarily be needed because ESPN's still dropping every year in ratings, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't need another sports channel, especially when it's the best one. It's,
Oh yeah, that would be a conflict of interest.
yeah.
Well, you need the broadcast rights that Fox has, though.
Well, yeah, because I mean, ESPN doesn't have rights to either the NFC or the AFC. I think they just have Monday Night Football still, don't they?
Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, they get Monday Night Football, but Fox has NFC and NBC has AFC, and then I think it always whoever bids the most for Super Bowl every year. I think basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and playoffs are still ABC or NBC and Fox, just based upon different bullshit. So I mean, technically, if you got Fox, then you could get all the NFC games. I don't know which one gets more viewership, NFC or AFC, but I mean, AFC has some pretty stellar teams. NFC has.
I bet it fluctuates. So.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Tom Brady's in house, I think the AFC will get pretty good ratings, but I don't know.
So anyway, Bringing Out the Dead, 1999. Watch it.
Catch it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
And watch the sequel, Taking Out the Living.
I did like your I like how you tied it in with Fight Clubs. Like, yeah, they're kind of the same type of movie.
Well, it's like we made a connection between Fight Club and American Beauty, and so now this is the next connection between Fight Club and Bringing Out the Dead. There's just like a weird undercurrent of like they're kind of doing the same things here. Even works in the Matrix too. I mean, Neo's kind of sleepy and insomnia and dreamy.
Yeah. So everything is Fight Club. All things lead back to the Matrix and Fight Club, which is two parts of the three trilogies of the 1990s.
And everything leads back to the Matrix because now they're remaking
Are they?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they said that a long time ago. It just
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know how much weight or how much
Are the
truth.
Wachowski sisters going to remake it? Or something?
No.
I don't. Yeah, probably not.
I hope they do because they did a great job with it the first time. Well, the first one.
Not the second two.
Yeah. The first one was cool.
Speed
And I'll
Racer.
give that,
Speed Racer's a better movie than it has any right to be.
That's true.
I just
but
think
nobody watched it.
I just think Speed
No, I
Racer is
haven't.
awesome just because of the cast, but also the visual aspect of it is probably
Yeah.
the best part of it.
Watching a,
And I didn't mind Cloud Atlas.
No,
Actually
I thought
found
that
it to
was a
be
good movie.
effective.
but it's also like 3 directors on that. It's like them and with Ty Tickver, that German dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
But after that, wasn't their next movie
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, which
That was awesome.
I haven't actually watched it. Like, is there?
I
is there-
actually-
Oh, you want to stab your eyes out with fucking...
I actually liked it the first time I watched it. I tried to watch it again and fell asleep both times. So I can't say it follows up well. So
I watched it all the way through just out of pure spite because I kind of went into it because Cloud Atlas sort of got mixed reviews, and I was like, well, some people don't like these guys and gals or whatever the fuck they are now, but I sometimes enjoy these people, and I'll watch their stuff, and yeah, I was gritting my teeth, like biting on a piece of leather to get through that. It was dumb. It was like hardcore dumb. It was like, and I know these guys are smarter than this. I don't know what happened here. We're just throwing so much shit at the wall to see what sticks. But yeah, it was terrible. And I'll stand by that.
And then I never watched the second season of Sense8.
my wife has. I can ask her what she thinks of it.
I thought the first season was all right, but then I just completely lost interest in any more of it.
We talked about it, but I never followed up on it because because we talk about things on this show, and then I'm gonna watch Dark. It's like, well, wait a minute, we talked about things you couldn't be watching.
God damn it, Nathan! Watch
I know.
Endgame and Game of Thrones. That's all everyone's talking about.
Well, see, that's my thing. It's like, oh, everyone's doing it. Fuck that.
You missed the funniest episode of Barry, and the weirdest.
I didn't mind Barry.
Second season's out now.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to get HBO on my computer because I'm deep in the world. of
Give me your credit card
You-
number for some
your
reason.
your cable, because you have do you have HBO cable? I mean, right?
yeah.
Okay, so you have a subscription to HBO Go automatically. You just have to go through your cable subscriber to get it.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I might do.
Like if you have a password sign up that you do with things, like you just go through that. Just go to HBO website and there should be something where like you can select your cable provider and enter in things.
Okay. I'll do that.
But
But
it's HBO Go, not HBO Now.
HBO Go. I think I have that because I watched something on my phone once when in the glorious. What was the last thing on HBO I was super obsessed with? Oh, True Detective season 1.
Okay.
I do have HBO Go as it's on my phone, so I should probably do that. But anyway, I think that's it for this week. I don't have anything else.
We'll have to do the game rundown some other time.
Yeah, well, I'm getting like someone's
The red lights are going. Red lights are on.
someone's pointing a gun at me. So, all right, this week for the American Greed Factory podcast, this is Nathan.
This is Conlon.
Andrew?
Goodbye, America.